Hi everybody, welcome back. Day 48, I believe. Day 48 of the Software Secrets videos. I'm Garrett Pearson, and today we're going to talk about how to hire a rock star. And I'm going to go into a couple different realms of when you're hiring programmers, designers, and then when you're hiring, for example, project managers or customer support or anything that's not in the development stage, okay? And I'm going to teach you our process. So first, let's focus on hiring a programmer. And the best way to do this is to either go to Upwork, or when we launch software funnels, obviously we're going to have access to a bunch of different programming companies, firms that we use and that are awesome. So, but until then, until we launch Software Secrets and Software Funnels, you're not going to have access to this. So the best way to go about this is to go to Upwork.com. They're the old Elance and old Odesk, and they're really the biggest one out there. And there's other ones, and so you can go try other ones. This is just the one that we suggest. And create a project, and I've talked about this before, but create a project or two or three and hire about 6 different programmers that you really like and have them do these small projects and see which ones communicate the best, which ones do the best job, and which ones work the fastest, okay? And then decide from there which one or ones you want to work with. Same with designers, okay? And I've talked about this before, but it's so important that you get them to design something for you in a project-based level, but you can still pay them by the hour and see how good they do, how fast they get back to you, how well they communicate with you, okay? That's on the more of the development side. You can do that with a front-end programmer too that's going to develop your HTML and CSS. Just give them a page and see how well they do, okay? That doesn't mean they'll do it perfect the first time, but they better be very, very close. The biggest key to hiring rock stars is people that communicate very well. That doesn't mean they have the English. If you're from the US, the English has to be their first language. That's not what I'm saying. I don't care if people don't use the right grammar and all that. They just need to be able, I just want them to communicate with me what issues they have, what questions they have. That's what I mean by communication. Okay, now let's get into hiring a rock star that's non-development. Maybe customer support, maybe sales people, sales managers, marketing directors or marketing managers or marketers or whatever, okay? And this is the process that we use, and I'm going to go through it quickly. There's a lot more into it, but we teach it in our book, Software Secrets, which you can get the first 2 chapters free right now. We'll be launching the book in May. The first 2 chapters free at softwaresecrets.com, but in the book we go into a lot more detail and in the training program. So step 1, obviously create the job ad. What qualifications, what do you want from this person? And the ad title needs to be very, very compelling. We flat out come out and say generally what the people are going to make, right in the title. So the next step is, once you get your ad posted, we post our ads on Indeed.com and then in the local area if we're hiring local, a local job site as well. You post the ad, and then we use breezy.hr, breezy.hr. Then we create an application. So the person then sees the ad, they go to the application, and during the application they need to upload a cover letter, a resume for sure. We're looking for those 2 things for sure. And then we give them a questionnaire. It's generally about 10 questions, and we ask them very specific questions to the job, and we want it to, they're not easy. We want them to be somewhat difficult questions, because what we're doing, what you're trying to do through this process that I'm going to teach you, is you're trying to weed out the people that aren't going to do these things. The people that, and if they don't do these things, they're not going to do what you ask them to do when you do hire them. Okay, so big questionnaire that's very important. Then after they fill out the questionnaire and they answered everything, the resume looks good, then the next step generally is we send them an email saying, hey, we looked at your resume, it looks great. The next step is you need to do this writing test, and we send them to a website, a typing test. Sorry, not a writing test, a typing test. So then they do the typing test, or they don't. The people that don't, they're done. I mean, if they can't even do a typing test And generally we ask them that they need to type, depending on the job, but generally it's about 40 words per minute. If you can't type more than 40 words per minute, we might not move you on to the next step. But if you don't even do the writing test, that proves to us that you aren't going to work with us. Because if you can't even do a simple writing test, then you're not going to do what we need you to do in your job. So questionnaire, resume, cover letter, writing test. Next is we ask them to do a voicemail interview. And if it's a salesperson, on the interview we ask them to tell us their name, tell us a 90-second story of their life. We ask them to tell us, we give a little bit more detail, but how they would sell the product, or how do they get through the gatekeeper. If it's customer support, we ask them, if you had a mad customer, how would you react? And then you got 2 minutes to tell us how you do that. And generally we give them about 4 minutes to do a voicemail interview. So once they've done the writing test, we send them an email saying, hey, thanks for doing the writing test. Now you need to do this voicemail interview. All you do is follow these instructions below and call this number. And then we give them the instructions of what we want them to do. Now again, this weeds out a ton of people that aren't rock stars, because if they're not willing to do this, they're not willing to do whatever you need them to do in the job that you're hiring them for. The next step, if they get through that and we really like their voicemail interview, we do either a webcam interview or just a phone interview, okay? So you could do a Skype webcam or whatever. Or just get on the phone and ask them a bunch of questions. Once they get to this point, then and they've passed that to that level, and we really like them, and we really think they're a great candidate, we bring them in and do a live person-to-person interview where we're sitting across from them. And if we can't do that because they're remote, then that one definitely is a webcam interview where we're seeing how they act, how they hold themselves, how confident they are. Okay, so after the one-on-one live interview, then generally, if they're the right person, they're the person that we want to hire, we go to the next level and do a spouse interview. And it's generally at a dinner or a lunch or a breakfast. And if they don't have a spouse, then we go to lunch, dinner, or breakfast with them alone. So whoever their significant other is, we invite them to go to lunch, breakfast, or dinner with us, and we ask them specific questions. And really what we're trying to do at that point is just see how they react in a different environment, how they act with their significant other, how they act with being at a little bit more laid back, dining experience. And at that point, generally, we know if we're going to hire that person. So that's pretty much the process that we go through to hire rock stars. Now, it's a little bit different with developers, because a lot of times we need them to develop some projects for us first, or designers, we need them to design for us first, and before we even go through all those things. So like I said, it's a little bit different, but that's the hiring process that we do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, if you want to learn more about this, when we launch the Software Secrets training, we go into a lot more detail, and we even give you notes and examples of all the questions and everything that we do. You're going to want to go to softwaresecrets.com and opt in so that you get access to the first 2 chapters, but it's also going to give you access to when we launch. We're going to be sending out a lot of emails when we launch, so that you can see what it is that we do, okay? But what I mean is, if you opt in, you're going to get access to the launch dates. You'll probably, if you're on that list, this early bird list, you're obviously going to get discounts and stuff like that. So go do that, softwaresecrets.com, and we'll have another great video tomorrow. But thanks everybody for watching.